firms really quickly get their heads around the fact that offshoring has been in existence for quite some time, even the small and medium-sized firms. I think the proposition we offer is the fact that we help them mitigate the risk of trying to do all of that on their own. And that helps them a lot in order to make that decision. The second thing is South Africa poses significant benefits compared to the traditional offshoring model that's currently facilitated from predominantly India and the Philippines, is insofar as South Africa, depends on where you are in the US, have got a 6-hour time zone difference. It does allow for sufficient overlap between South Africa and the US counterpart. So immediately there's one less risk to be concerned about, and that is due and proper communication. South Africa's location per se is so much so that some firms are actually thinking of South Africa as a nearshoring destination. And the reason for the nearshoring destination is the time zone, as I mentioned, but equally a significant amount of cultural alignment in terms of the language and how we speak the English language, the common denominator of accounting being a global language. And I think thirdly, also a lot of cultural alignment between South Africans and how things are being done in the US. So I think overall, the jump to working with South Africans, be that time zone, cultural, and or language, is actually not as big a jump for the Americans as it initially were perceived to be many years back. With technology enabling this, especially after COVID, it really allows the American firms to think of Cape Town as another branch of their, let's call it, of their offices. So if they manage to get their heads around having a multi-branch environment within the US, adding a location in Cape Town where Cape Town uses the VPN of the firm, is in daily contact with that firm, works on the same type of systems and technology, that really basically shrinks the risk factor significantly. And what remains is the cost efficiency and benefits proposition that comes from the arbitrage between cost of labor in South Africa on the one side and what similar skills would cost CPA firms and corporate divisions within the US if they were to fish from US talent pools only.
Makes sense.
We offer, firstly, long-term engagements to our clients where we augment or supplement their accounting talent with people from South Africa. Once a client has actually grown and journeyed with us during this, let's call it, augmentation solution, we also help them actually set up what we call a global capacity center in the Cape Town area. So that means we enable them, after they've grown with augmentation solutions, to ultimately create something for themselves. So in that instance, it's almost we being their partner to create a branch or an office of them in Cape Town. Now, we do that in close cooperation with them in a model that's known as build, operate, and transfer. So we help them build out the team. We help them operate that team, making sure that this team of people in South Africa follows the compliance, the standards, and the likes of the US counterpart. And at some point in the future, we allow for them to own that infrastructure and team that we've created as a partner. And that's the transfer section of that. So it's always about the people, attracting the right people, holding on to the right people, and really providing the people with journeys so that they can stay with you.
What are you learning from your placements and from this pairing of South African talent with US companies? What are you learning about the profile of the South African that really thrives in that environment?
So one of the things that I think Southwestern Talent does phenomenally well is trying to understand the culture of our clients, so that when we look at talent within our talent pool, that we really identify the best possible cultural fit between the South African and the firm that they will be working with. So cultural fit is one of the most important things that we need to understand from our clients so that we can find the corresponding cultural alignment in the candidate that we want to place at that specific firm.
Only way I can pivot from that is from testimonials. Everybody that we've placed are still with that company. some of that CPA firms are currently helping us with testimonials and introductions to new CPA firms, because at the end of the day, competition is healthy and they all need everybody else to succeed to stay in the market. So from that backdrop, like Werner always says, just coming back to the talent side, what it does in the shortage space as well is it helps the current team not feel burnt out. It helps them to meet deadlines. And overall, it just lifts the spirits to know that the workload can get done collectively from South Africa and the US.
And that's one thing I can always give kudos to South Africans is if ever you want to know of a team of people globally that knows how to move on and be agile and quickly put a challenge in the rearview window, it's a South African.